welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Time with Jack, right? Joy with Jack. I am so inspired once again today. And brothers and sisters, all of you who are here in the now, and those who may stroll in or find this later, blessings to you and thank you. Thank you for sharing our time and your attention with me. Because I am so filled with inspirations once again today, brothers and sisters. A world of peace. A world of peace is waiting for you in the here and now, and for you to carry with you as long as you are you. And I found my own ways into my own depths and levels of peace in my heart. And it feels pretty darn good. And so, brothers and sisters, I'm filled with faith and optimism that very soon the announcement throughout the world will be ceasefires and reforms are happening. Why? Because humanity chose to change. Today, brothers and sisters, the thumbnail, it's not coming through real clearly here, but real simple and obvious today, right? War means profits for some, but war means devastation and horror and absolute destruction for most others, many others. So war is profits for some. Peace is prosperity for all. We all want peace. We all want prosperity. We all want a better future. We all want a better world. The world is in denial. So, brothers and sisters, what applies, when the truth is true, it applies on many different levels. So these words will apply with these words that applied to me will apply with you, should you choose to apply the truthful words. It's up to you. But the truth is true on many different levels. Okay, what cures each of us of our misery and our suffering, our conflicts and the battles, is the choice to reconcile. Hello. Every day we have choices and chances. We get to find conflicts or reconciliation, resonance. We can resist or we can flow every moment of every day. So pay attention. Pay attention to you and what you enable, what you ignore, and what you choose to do. Paying attention means paying attention. Not getting lost in arguments and battles and, oh, I'm so hurt, I'm so afraid. Yeah, that happens, but don't get lost in that crap, man. This, right now, today, the past and the future today. This is our lifetime. This is your lifetime to change and to discover the world as you. Where my life brought me to is to this wish for us all, right? We know the example of the Christ, Jesus. May we all find that divine faith, that divine love, that divine peace that was shown. May we find that divine faith, peace, and love in our hearts, in our minds, with each other today. And whether it's with me or those others around you, realize that's your life. Be kind, be gentle, be a light in the darkness, leading others into better lives, greater health, being encouraging, being inspiring, not just for you, but for everyone else. Because in the end, we're all in this game of life. And I went back and listened to my words yesterday, and it's true, man. Life, history it's all things all in one. It's a tragedy, it's a love story, it's so much. It's wars and manipulation, it's evil, and it's miraculous. Every day we've been given this miraculous gift of life, to live, to feel, to discover, to share. What is the true enemy of peace in your heart? It's the patterns of selfishness. We've all been subjected to a bunch of nonsense in this modern age we're living through. Selfishness corrupts, right? What is war? War is a conflict. A conflict is a disagreement between nations and representatives of nations. So these disagreements between representatives of nations have resulted in real life tragedy. There's humanitarian crises happening all around the world. And so guess what that means? That means there's a spiritual crisis happening in your soul, just like in mine. Okay, and this spiritual crisis is that when we hear of people crying out for help and we just ignore it, oh man, that destroys us. Okay, so there are men and women and children in this world crying out for help. And we may not be an immediate answer, but through uniting together, brothers and sisters, using the connections that you have, the connections I have, the technology we've got today, right now, we can find a way, should we choose to, and should God allow it, we can find a way for an immediate ceasefire and immediate reforms throughout the entire world. I'm convinced of this. This morning, in between getting texts and nasty messages about what a horrible person I am supposedly living as, I was blessed again to attend the Zoom call put on by the Schillinger Institute, the International Peace Coalition. I was able to listen to firsthand, retired officials, people in the know that know what's happening right now, and there is a criminal conspiracy, there's criminal activity happening on many different levels, and it's all throughout our world. Why is this happening? It saddens me to believe that I used to believe in the American way. The evidence is clear, brothers and sisters. The American way has resulted in a global catastrophe because the selfishness and greed that creates these powerful billionaires, powerful government executives, it's a bunch of bullshit. See, war is a result of cowardice. Those who can't maturely find the words to express themselves or find the willingness to humble themselves to the truth, they go to battle. They're cowards. Don't be a coward in this world today. You've got no reason to unless you're believing in lies. See, and if you believe in lies, you're going to believe that you're somehow far and distant from the care and love of the Creator, of God. You're going to feel like God is watching you for the purposes of punishing you. Those are lies. Okay? We're here to walk through life with the grace, with the love, with the faith as shown through the Christ and many others. It's as simple as that. I used to be a coward. I was so cowardly and afraid, I raised my hand and took an oath that said, I will obey. And I joined the military and industrial complex as a child, not knowing what I was doing, not thinking through the consequences, the possible consequences of my choices, my actions, being willing to obey. Admittedly, I had a tough time with that. At first it was all right, and then it wasn't. Because I saw myself with a bunch of hypocrites again. God, this world, man, this world has created a bunch of hypocrites. Look at the government officials to see what has resulted in the American dream. Look at the state of the world to see where the problem lies. The problem lies through the structures of corporation and government. People feel helpless to do anything about them, but hello, there's human beings involved in every level of this. From the crisis in the humanitarian crisis that's happening to the wealthy, delusional people prancing around in this pageantry, in this celebrity charade we call politics. It's nuts. Brothers and sisters, I'm truly, truly feeling inspired with peace. Oh, here, I'll get through a couple notes. I'm going to open this up. Anyone who wants to join is welcome to join. We'll see where it goes. It's very clear that American imperialism is what we were taught, right? Don't be like the government. Don't be a bully. Don't be a liar. The American government works through this entire economic system. It works through manipulation, exploitation, and violence. Okay? That's why the American government is so willing to pick a side in these exterior conflicts that have been fanned by the choices of corporate and government officials representing the land where you and I'm speaking to those in America, but to the land we live in. I don't appreciate that crappy representation being shown to the rest of the world. These liars on the news. Brothers and sisters, join with me. This American imperialism has got to end. It's corrupting all of us. Praise God. This is God's grace. This is God's grace being shown upon us. It's allowing all of the evil, all of the darkness to show itself to the world so clearly. And the evil is being perpetrated. There have been long-range plans perpetrated here on earth by people who are corrupted, right? Focused on global control, manipulation, turning people into these worthless eaters that are just there to produce, right? Be inventive energy sources to be controlled. To understand others, you've got to allow yourself to think like others. I understand many different people. What I've learned from experience, my own personal experience, and especially observation of others, cowards. Cowards find strength in lies. You watch the cowards who want to come up here and act like they're perpetrating. They're cowards. They believe in lies. See, the prideful believe in lies. The prideful and the arrogant, the foolish, they leave God out of the equation. God is the truth. God is love. Without truth and love in your mind, in your heart, you become corrupted. And when you're corrupted, you will be deceived. And when you're deceived, you're going to be fighting friends and family over the like of Harris or Trump. Oh my God, we got to impose the lesser evil on our neighbors. Evil is evil. The American people can do a hell of a lot better than these warmongering ways. There is a spiritual crisis happening in this world today. There's many people calling out to God in desperation. So let's be the hands, the feet of God. Let's be the voices of God, bringing forth the reasons together, the reasons for an immediate ceasefire, the reasons for the immediate reforms. Let's do this together. This is our lifetime to change the world. I find it so fascinating, sincerely, to the 15 of you who are joining with me today. Thank you. And the numbers drop. Praise God. There's something happening in our world. There's powers that are far greater than what we see. There's powers that are far greater than all of us, that are moving us all through time. Humble yourself to the moment. For God reveals the moment. God reveals all things. Hey, here's some company and a bright light. Welcome back, J Hub. How have you been, my friend? Are you there?
I've been good, man. Praise God. I've been good. Can you hear me?
Yes. There's a little static, but keep going. We'll figure it out. I'll see if I can do something. Try that.
Oh man,
Welcome.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead. Did you have thoughts you were joining with?
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm with you on a lot of stuff. 99% of what you say. You know, but I just want to say, sometimes when people choose a different path, sometimes it's you kind of made a distinction between two different sides, right? And you said that if you're this way, then this is how you should act regardless, right? I I I wouldn't judge people in that way because I can understand people who choose peace over or with the system or whatever it is they're trying to go to war with, right? Um for their own personal beliefs. Um sometimes people can become a part of things that are bigger than themselves, and what's for the greater good is more important than just, um, you know, um, just what's best for you. And peace overall should be the most important thing, I think, in a society. You know,
Abs-
um, but
Absolutely. Oh,
but
go
when it
ahead.
comes to because a lot of times, yeah. So a lot of times, a lot of what, um, even though I agree with you, 99% of the time, a lot of times it could be seen by the masses as stirring up the pot, right? So then it's no longer peace. Once you get to the point of everybody has submitted to the status quo, and here comes along Joe Blow or Jack Talcott for this instance, right? I'm messing with you. And it's something completely different, even though it is righteous and the right thing to do. But everybody has to get used to that and has to get to the point where they can accept it, right? To where it can be a peaceful transition. You know, like like for instance, you said something when I hopped on. I kind of forgot what it was. Um, but basically, it's like if everything that I'm doing. in my life is towards peace. And I'm like, hey, I'm just going with the flow, right, Jack? I ain't trying to bother nobody. I'm trying to stay out of the way, you know. But then you have other people who may come through, for lack of a better words, to have less to lose, right? It doesn't matter the outcome. They just want what's right and what they think is right. So when it comes down to it, it's like, do I just want peace and to be able to go to sleep tonight, smile, kiss the family and wake up in the morning and be okay? Or do I want to go to war with the world, right? Do I want
AJ,
to go to war with everybody for righteousness?
let me
Go
jump
ahead.
in here if I may, because you said a lot there. I was living a life where I felt I was doing good for others, being a union leader and giving to charity, and I was growing in that way. I felt I was doing good. Brother, there's nothing I would give more than to kiss my family, to hold my son, to have a hug for my old friends. Nothing I would give more for that. But the life I'm living, God allowed me to change. And I realized back in 2018 when I saw my life falling apart, I was like, all right, why? Well, it's what you said. When I was in the military, I used to volunteer for conflicts because I'd rather myself go rather than a father or someone with a family. So, someone who cared about them, right? I didn't feel I had people who cared about me. So, I was always willing to go and sacrifice myself, but God kept me safe. And so then I finally realized, well, you take everything from a man like me, I've got nothing left to lose. So I want to help others realize they really don't have much to lose either. Everything is a gift from God. Each day can be celebrated, appreciated, repeated. And my life, man, God opened my eyes, my mind's eye, right? And the things I've been learning, it's all in the Bible. When the light of the mind, when the light of the mind be single, meaning we're not divided, we're not at war with what God has revealed for us, when we're united with the creation of life and time itself that we're experiencing, when that mind and heart are aligned with God's will, well, I trust what we as Christians, what this was a comment I shared on a Facebook post earlier, and what I, in regards to how to approach the lost and the confused, rather than flip the tables over on them and say, hey, you're wrong. I believe the way of Christ. That's how we can live, with an open invitation and being an example of compassion and care, leading others. Because the other thing you said too is there's many people that are going to be resistant to these ideas of change, particularly those who have found comfort or success in this world the way that it is. They're going to be afraid of bucking the system and, changing. What am I going to lose? We have everything to gain, everything to gain, because God is true. God is real. God is with us all right now, whether people accept it or not, whether they know it or not, whether they appreciate it or not. God is. God is. And the way we want to live, we want to live the way that Jesus said, with faith, with love, with compassion, without fear of persecution. J-Hub, there's something amazing happening here. So far, I'm the only one that's kind of accepted my life and the possibilities of what I'm saying, at least as far as I can tell.
No, no, I feel you, Jack. Can you hear me? Can you hear me
Yeah,
better now?
yes.
So, like, I'll be honest. I think it was the first time I ever got on a panel online. It was on your channel, Jack. I know for a fact it was, right? And what I remember what I talked about, it was the same thing what I'm talking about right now, is that choice and that distinction that you have to make, right? Do I want do I want to save the world, or do I want that peace for what I'm building with my family or whatever it is, right? For me, that's what it is. And that could be different. So just to give, for example, I'm gonna just go from my culture, right? For example, for Malcolm X or Martin Luther King, right? The what his children and his wife had to endure was really hard for what he had to do, right? It's the reason Jesus was a single man, not married, because he didn't have all of those things to worry about, right? So it's a lot easier to make this decision and say, hey, I ain't got nothing to lose. I'm a single man. I figured out all of this stuff. I see what's wrong with the world. I'm gonna be a man and go fix it. And that's honorable, right? But then at the same time, it's like, okay, if I'm trying to move a different way, you have to honestly make a decision, right? And be at peace with it. Be at peace with yourself and be at peace with the world as for what it really is, Just I'm kind of oversimplifying it, but I know you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Mhm. That peace with the world means a submission. In my mind, I found that peace with the world. I know here's where I'm at. My faith in God is so strong. I trust I don't have to do anything except whatever I want. But what I want to do is what, well, J Hub, you brought up Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King. Dr. King was one of my personal heroes, not only as a young child when I learned of him, but then when I got involved in labor and I started going back and listening to some of his old speeches about equality and peace. He was a huge inspiration for me. And so one of my thoughts in the past was maybe this is what God was doing. God allowed my family to separate from me so that they would be safe, so that if things happened to me, there would be clear evidence that they're no longer with me. And so I thought that was a possibility. I still don't know what the future is going to bring, but I'm trying to find a way to get in front of the American Congress and in front of the UN. And J Hub, this idea, changing the world and having the peace of what you're doing. Not everyone's got to join me all the way. I'm trying to figure out what can I do to get more attention to what I'm trying to accomplish.
Right, right. So like I know, like I said, it's like a choice, right? So I brought them up because I kind of studying them and stuff. I understand their families too as well, right? And their families didn't even experience the peace that they were trying to give to the world.
Yeah.
So um that's kind of what I'm talking about. It's like, so if it's easier, it's a lot easier. I'm not gonna say there isn't a way to make it all happen, right? But it's a lot easier for you to control and dictate and say, hey, I'm gonna give my family a happy life, right? I'm a I'm a I'm a make sure they come home and they smiling when I come home and they light me up, you know what I'm saying? And that's a lot easier than saying I'm gonna deal with all the problems, or to get to do what needs to be done in this world. I'm gonna make it real open open like that, right? Because it's a lot of stuff that needs to be done.
Well,
Go ahead.
here's the reality of my past. I did drive myself insane thinking about problems and the world problems, and I wasn't what you said. You're right. I should have been that dad, was the bright light for my son. I thought I was doing right by fighting for others, by earning a living, by dedicating myself to, you know, surviving. And I'm not ashamed of how I raised my son because I did a lot of good things, but my son suffered because of my misdirection. I was focused on the worldly things, but I'm not anymore. And this is what's crazy about my life. I'm still being publicly prosecuted against lies. And I'm trying, literally, in my own personal life, I'm trying to pick up the pieces of the past, trying to bring some reconciliation to my family, to my reputation here in Spokane, and my career. It's been a crazy adventure my life has that only, I mean, all of our lives, they're crazy adventures that God allows us to live. Simple as that.
Wow, that's honorable. That's definitely honorable. It was a point in my life, Jack, when I wanted to. I did. I was watching all the videos. I did all the research. I got like I got like 7 spirals of notebooks that I done wrote out how I'm gonna change the world, Jack. And it was I went to a restaurant one time and they had it was a newspaper article, um like when the what was it, the Mississippi bus boycott was going on, right? They're boycotting. They said we're not gonna ride the bus. We're gonna walk to work every day. We're gonna walk to school every day. And they were detailing, people walking in the rain for 10 miles because they made a stand and they said they wasn't gonna ride the bus. And they was, people walking 7, 8 miles, uphill, like people tell their stories and say, hey, I ain't gonna ride the bus. I'm gonna stand on this principle that I'm standing on. And it was I almost came to tears because I saw the unity for the purpose that the people had at that time, right? And I came to the realization when I looked out in the world, I didn't see that. I didn't see nothing close to that, Jack. And honestly, that made me give up and say, hey, Jack, Jack, I'm being straight up. It made me give up. And I said, hey, I'm gonna worry about me and my kids. I'm gonna try and make my kids be the best they can be because all of the unity and stuff that it takes for all of this stuff to happen, I don't see anything even close to people being able to. I don't know anybody that'll say, "Hey, I'm gonna walk 10 miles to work today." I don't know anybody that's gonna say that. They're gonna submit to the powers and get on that bus so that they can get to work. Ain't nobody waking up 3, 4 hours before they have to go to work so that they can walk there and get to work anymore. Nobody's gonna. I don't see the masses of people ready to sacrifice like that.
Hey,
That's,
Jay,
just being honest. Go ahead.
I love that. And I had to chuckle though because of your honesty. You admitted, what you saw was not looking good. I experienced the same thing, but my path was different. Regardless, you've had the vision of a better world within you, right? And I've got a vision of a better world within me, and the divine brought us together today. And we're not done, right? Under the current structure, this current toxic system, the layers of toxicity, you're right. Our children have a very dark future. However, we're not done. We are not done. The past we have been living has been preparation for us for the future. And the future I envision sincerely united. I truly trust and believe that's what God wishes and wants for us, that we were created to be a loving family together, united with the same one God, right? Thoughts of God, which reveals the truth, empowering each other with the truth, raising each other up with praise and encouragement and education. Humanity can end the warring styles. We were born into a world where slavery and oppression never ended. It's continuing. I'm excited, sincerely, J-Hub. I am excited at the possible future our children may be able to receive, because I'm committed to this. Ending wars is my purpose.
I'm with you, man. Like I said, I had to kind of come to the realization where it's like, all right, um, I'll support Jack, and when Jack gets it all together, you know what I'm saying, I'll jump on the bandwagon once it starts moving. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, respect. I think there's many that are with you right there. Here's something I forgot to point out. Every one of our lives are different. My experience, rather than losing hope completely, my experience was I'd come up with ideas, and then shortly after that, God would show me organizations and experts, people explaining to me what I came to realize myself. And when I realized that money was the problem, and that we could find ways to move beyond the limitations of profits and debts, and that when we move beyond profits and debts, then we can share with honesty. Well, I had never imagined a world without money. I never even thought it was possible. And then I found out there's organizations that have figured out ways to really transition easily and to do a lot of cool things. But the problem is, we live in a world of confusion and people haven't been listening to people. But that doesn't change God's role, our role. Jahab, like I said, I have this faith in me because I've learned of so many inspiring people, people who have accomplished far greater things than me. And I hope to help the world learn about them, because I'm nothing special. Anyone can learn if given the right opportunities to learn. We're going to change this world somehow. I never thought it was possible. I sure as hell didn't believe it would be us, but kind of think changing the world is up to us.
I hope it changes, Jack, but I'll be at peace either way. Either way,
Amen, brother.
I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be at
J
peace.
Hub, you are a man of peace and light, and I recognized your light and your peace, your strength when you showed up. I want you to have faith, sincerely. Push beyond the limits of your mind into the realm of impossible, because our God reveals the impossible. And many people want to believe it's not possible for wars to end. I've overcome and engaged and surrendered many battles with him. And I've been in a lot of fights, and I've resolved a lot of things outside. So I know things are possible. Everything is possible with God.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know I want all wars to end too, but I'm a I'm a backslide a little bit, Jack. I got to be honest. If it's a I don't care about the worldwide wars. If it's not a war on my home front, then it's not that important to me and what I
Mm,
got going on. You know, Ukraine war, um, Hezbollah and all of that stuff. I understand what's going on. I feel sorry for them, but I don't want to write an open check to people that I've never seen and I don't know anything about. Just being honest. So, um, if it was a war on our home front and we defending ourselves, I'm all for it, But all those other wars, I could care less about all of them. I could
Have
really.
you have you heard about the prisons for the profitable prison systems in America? Have you
Yeah,
noticed military bases throughout America that are polluting the environment?
yeah. So if you're talking about stuff that's in the continental 48 states, even Alaska and Hawaii, I'm I'm pretty well aware of it. Yeah, yeah.
Well, this is what I want people to realize is that these systems of government and corporation, nobody is safe. Nobody is safe when there are wars. And we've got wars going on against our freedom. We've got wars going on against our morality. I mean, let's face it, wicked rises when people become immoral. And look to what is happening in the world. There's wars happening because Americans have not done enough to get involved in what's happening in politics. I mean, because seriously, I've been blessed to really look at a lot of different perspectives of history, including labor history in America. And slavery is slavery, whether you receive a small breadcrumb called a paycheck or not. If you don't have the right to do the job your way, right? If you have to only follow the boss's order, the boss's productivity expectations, if you don't have a voice of equality and cooperation in an organization, you're enslaved. So, how does America think it is free when workers don't have the rights? This is insanity.
Right. So I agree with that. I know that's something I said before, probably not on your panel, but um, you know, even in slavery times, the slave owner would give them a place to stay. He'd give them some clothes to wear, and he'd let them go to church on Sunday. You know. And if you think about it, probably 60-70% of working class people, that's all they really got is a place to stay, something to eat, some clothes to wear. They get their Sunday off to go, relax a little bit. And that's really all you still got, even to this day. So,
It's unfortunate and true. And many of those people that are working just to have the shelter, they'll look down at other people who aren't working hard like them. And we live in a world of insanity. There is no reason for poverty, there's no reason for wealth. I mean, poverty and wealth that's been the division since the beginning. Before people used the distraction of skin color and tribes and all of this, it was always about wealth, material, the worldly resources. So, selfishness and greed, that's what we're here to overcome. And what darkens us is when we convince ourselves not to care about those who we don't know and love. And honestly, I think that's what's corrupted most of the people in the world. My opinion, My opinion is the rest of the world sees the news and what the American public and government are doing. While they're living in poverty, we're fighting an obesity epidemic and all of these, pushing all these drugs and vacations. And at the same time, the imperialist corporations are they're destroying nations. The sanctions from the American government, the sanctions and tariffs are a war against the working class. And so these systems have divided the world. They're systems of confusion. We got to stop trusting in the systems And we got to start loving each other, just like we were told. That's what I've learned for myself. When I don't think selfish thoughts, I feel good. Because when I think selfish thoughts, then I disrupt my own peace. So, this topic today, the enemy of peace is selfishness. We can help each other end the battles. We can help each other overcome selfishness. A lot of our memories and guilt and resentment, it's because we're too selfish to put our opinions aside. That's from experience. Hey, I don't know. J-Hub, I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want to press into your beliefs. I do hope to encourage you and everyone to expand your hope in the possibilities of what could be true for humanity if money wasn't the answer. Because money's not the answer. Money is the distraction. Money is actually the tool that slave owners use. The search for money is what funded the auction and oppression of human beings. It's like, God is so good. God is so good.
Hey, Jack, if you want to give up on money, send all your money to my Cash App. I'm gonna drop it in the back. You don't want money, but as far as like you say, even the Bible said, you have to follow the laws of the land that you're living in, you know, and
Yep.
understand where you're at, you know. So,
Jay, oops, sorry to jump in there, but yes, this is what I've learned, and that word, that part in Romans, particularly about the government and following those rules, that gets misunderstood. Because here's the reality in America: the governors are actually subject to the governed. We, the people, hold the power of this nation. We, the people, hold the power of the future. It's within us. This idea that these, excuse me, we've got systems that they're inverted, right? This is my goal, and what I do believe is, I think it's God's story, man. My hope is to be a messenger of love for the truth, right? And to get in front of Congress. Those public servants have been confused. They think they control us and others. And the fight between control between the state and the people, between the corporations and the governments, all of these wars can end. And so my hope is to be a citizen, a voice for the citizens, for the people, in front of the bosses of the American corporation. This is what my life has created me for, man. That's what I did for a long time.
right. So we live in a democratic republic, right? We elect people to represent us, right? So what you have to do is to elect the person that aligns with your beliefs, or gather a bunch of people that are going to complain to the person that's elected and write letters and whatever it is to that person and say, hey, we don't want wars. The people under your jurisdiction don't want wars. So we need you to align with not wanting wars. So other than that, I don't see what the solution is under this current government that we're living under.
Don't let yourself be limited by the past, because what you offered is not what I'm suggesting. That's their way, right? The corrupted way is only do what you're told you can do. And we're told we can only just vote, we can only just send letters or sign petitions. Nope. These are human beings. These are human beings who took an oath, just like I took an oath, but it's all about interpretations of the oath. And what I'm offering is that America's standard of acceptable is too low. Let's find a way to get in front of the people in Congress and let them know that this is no longer acceptable. You either become honorable, working on towards ending wars, which is within your job description, people of Congress. They have the power legislated that's been given by what you said, the republic and the democracy, but they're not fulfilling their duty to the people. The Republican Party, the Democrat Party are both focused on economic solutions, and those are not the answers, because profits create war. War
Right.
creates profits.
Right. So if, I don't know how many people live in your jurisdiction. Let's say it's 20,000. You know, if 20,000 people came together and said we don't want wars, we're only going to elect a person that doesn't want wars, then that's the only person that's going to be elected in your district. You know, it just can't be you thinking that you have a righteous point and saying, "Hey, I don't wars
Jay,
aren't right."
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt. It's not just me. There's lots of groups out there campaigning and trying to organize others, but we live in a system of corruption whereby legal authority, right? Citizens United, these corporations can outspend all of the organizing efforts that the citizens want to gather together, right? It's being shown in this current political cycle how the corporations and the lobbyists are outspending and pushing out voices. It's time for this nonsense to end. My goal, my prayer, to be honest, J-Hub, is that me and anyone else who's joining me, we find a way before November to get the United States government under control. To immediate reform. No more secrets. When there's no more secrets and lies between the corporations and governments, there's no more enemies.
Right. So did you hear that there's no longer three candidates, there's only two candidates now? Right.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's only going to be two choices on the ballot that we choose.
that's
So you
why I say let's join together. It's not acceptable. And frankly, there's people in this world suffering from lack of food, lack of shelter, lack of health care, lack of safety. And yet there's people generously spending millions of dollars on this electoral pageantry. It's an advertising, it's to sway people's opinions and promote celebrity. It's craziness, man. J Hub, this is the time. God is fulfilling prophecies through us. I think that when wars end and the truth is set free, that's our destiny.
I don't think this is the time. I honestly think it's too late now. I think the time would have been like 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, to get around a candidate that believes what you believe. But at this point, when you go to your ballot box, it's only going to be two options there, or you can write in whoever you want. I think
Jay, you're missing the human connection, my friend. Help me speak to one of the candidates. Help me speak to both of the candidates. Swear to God, right? Because I'm not running in any process, but I stand on the messages of peace, right? My education brought me the background and the kind of the perspectives of the working class, the IWW, let's end wage slavery. And then later I discovered the organization Veterans for Peace, other people like me, men and women who voluntarily serve the military industrial complex. They've agreed, let's do whatever it takes, whatever we can to bring peace to our world. Because children shouldn't be encouraged or paid to go into war. That's corruption. And yet we live in a nation that glorifies the veterans, those who obey in times of destruction. I mean, there's honor in survival, but let's create a world for thriving, prosperity. It's available for the world. I don't
So
know.
what is that process of making that happen, making that world look like?
The first thing is what is in my heart, what I see as a way, but I don't know what the future
Hold
is
on,
going to bring.
I'm sorry I'm cutting you off, but what's gonna work? What's gonna make what's gonna get us to the what's gonna get us the outcome that we want? Not what we want,
Cooperation.
not what we feel. What's gonna work to get the outcome that we want? How do we go about getting that?
Cooperation, where we willingly cooperate to help those who want to resist the ideas of peace and reform. We who want peace and reform, we willingly cooperate to help them understand why they should cooperate. I mean, I think it would be pretty easy if I talked to people who were actually in positions to do things. Because like where my mind went is, I might be wrong, but I thought some years ago Elon Musk threw out a tweet of he's willing to spend putting billions behind the solution of the world, right? And these organizations reached out to him and such, but I don't know if that was real or not. I don't know if he's genuine or not. But I actually do believe that even some of these wealthy billionaires, if they thought there was a solution, they'd probably support it. But since we've all been raised in this American way of anti communist propaganda, taught to believe in enemies and wars, I really think, J Hub, the solution for the world is we get the right ideas and the right people together. God's controlling the timing, and we choose what we do.
So is God controlling it or money controlling it? Because you brought up Elon Musk and he said, I'm gonna give $45 million to the person that I like and that I want to be the president.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're kind of aligning and going, they're talking to him and going along with his talking points and agreeing with him because he's giving $45 million. So what is it really about? Is it about money? Is it about principle, morality? You know, uh, for instance, let's say, let's just say I, for example, I went to a politician and I gave him every moral and just reason to do the right thing, right? But somebody else came up and gave him $45 million to align with what they want him to do. Who do you think they're going to align with?
Whatever they believe is best. And this is the problem. We live in a world that has punished the honest and it has rewarded the selfish. So this what scenario you just offered, we can overcome the selfish patterns and even the corrupt offers that are done behind closed doors when we realize here, Elon Musk, he's controlled opposition, as is Donald Trump. Donald Trump had the opportunity to do what he said he was going to do, and he didn't. Right? Same thing with all of these other politicians. They lack follow through in their words, and they are controlled opposition, creating these distractions. Ooh, talk about Elon. Ooh, talk about Trump. What Trump said, what Elon said. No, let's look at what they're doing. Let's look at what they're actually showing of themselves. They're prideful, they're selfish, and they're arrogant. Prideful, selfish, arrogant, those are the patterns of, well, the confused, the lost. And those of us who identify with the way of Christ, we want to call ourselves Christians, let's be Christ-like and go to the lost and the confused. I would love to get in front of Congress. I'd love to speak with Donald Trump, Elon Musk, anyone else who's risen to power in this world. I've been trying to unite what you were saying, J-Hub. I've been trying to unite my community, my family. I've been reaching out to different organizations, different celebrities, different. This is the life we're living, man. J-Hub, I want you to live the life you love, so your children grow up living the life they love. I didn't love my life when I had my son in it. Wasn't a very good example. But I trust everything happens for purpose. And hey, I want to thank you, but unless you've got something pressing on your heart, I think maybe I should start wrapping up.
No, you got it, man. I missed what you said. I was on a call, but appreciate you for having me up, though.
Hey, respect to you, sincerely. J-Hub, you are a bright light, another man like me who the Spirit has been guiding, right? And brothers and sisters, all of us, every single one of us, we have the opportunity to change this world. We can let the world change us and make us bitter and angry, spiteful. We can allow the world to make us feel less than. You don't want to feel less than. You want to feel righteous in your peace, comfortable in your skin as you. And the best way to do that is to live the best life of you. The best way to live your life is not selfish, because selfishness creates wars. It creates defenses and attacks. You got to be, you got to be on the alert. Make sure you don't lose out when you're selfish. You're afraid. If you're afraid, you don't know who you are or where you are. It's the patterns that we've been given. Brothers and sisters, I want you to align yourself. Truly trust in and know. Discover it for yourself. Set yourself on your own mental and spiritual journey. At every chance you get in the physical life, take a break. Allow the world to be the world. Allow your family to be their family. And allow you to settle into you, so that with your mind and your spirit, you can grow in your practice of seeking alignment with the divine. Because the divine is, oh man, I could go on and on this stuff, but brothers and sisters, find the peace within you. All you got to do is know your enemy. The enemy of the peace within you is your selfish desires. If you want to feel good about you, give yourself away. Get into the heart of another. Get into the mind of another. Get lost in the moments of life as you. Brothers and sisters, I am going to wrap it up here. I want to sincerely thank all of you, especially the guests. And peace. Peace is coming to our world, and it starts within you. And as soon as you find the peace within you, you can share it with others and help lead others into the peace with you. And as we unite together with the purpose and the hearts of peace, man, God's going to allow the ideas to come through. And when the ideas come through, then you feel good. You feel inspired. And when you feel inspired and you feel good, you're ready to take on the world. Join me in taking on the world. Make it through until next time. And again, choose love, peace for everyone. Live without fear. Thank you again. And God bless us all. Peace. How do I keep doing this? Have fun, brothers and sisters. Peace.